Hi, I am Will Knauer, a museum educator at Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, and this video is part of your My Museum Classroom Kit. In this segment, we will be looking at Landscape by Mark Tansey. As we look together, it will be helpful for you to have paper and something to write with as you respond to prompts in the video. Please pause the video and get those things now if you need to. This video is jam-packed with fun information and activities, so feel free to pause or rewind the video as many times as you need to. Before we get started discussing this work of art, let's take a few moments to let our eyes wander all over it to gather useful details. Mark Tansey is a contemporary history painter. Well, sort of. History painters usually depict a moment during an historical event rather than a specific person. Tansey, however, uses photographs, magazine or newspaper clippings, video snippets, and other media images that he then collages all together to make a point about history. From the collage, he makes very complex monochromatic paintings. Monochromatic means using just one color, which you can make darker and lighter. The one color he chose for this painting is a brownish red, which makes it appear almost like an old photograph. Because the images he chose are all jumbled together, Tansey asks us to figure out the meaning of the painting. So, what can we see in this artwork? You may want to pause the video as you look so you can write down some of the things you see. Unpause the video when you're ready to. First, notice that huge pile of crumbled figures lies on the sandy wasteland in front of us. Who are those faces? Tansey has included an assortment of people from history, including some of the worst, as well as some that are highly regarded. See an Egyptian pharaoh? Maybe King Tut on the bottom right? And is that George Washington on the left edge of the pile? If you can identify any other people, take a moment and write down their names. Did you happen to notice something interesting about all the figures in this painting? That's right, they are all men. Why do you think Mark Tansey did not include any women in this painting? If we look behind the large pile of figures, we notice there are mountains in the far distance on both the left and right sides. Between that pile of figures that is close to us and those distant mountains, there appears to be a vast wasteland. Nothing is growing there. Everything is still. The only movement we see is in the sky. Huge boiling clouds may be a dust storm coming at us over the desolate ground. How fast do they seem to be moving to you? Tansey's painting is a contradiction. It looks very real, but it is completely made up. It shows us figures of men who were once very important, though maybe we don't know who they are today. He shows us that a person's legacy may be preserved in art, like the head of King Tut we see in the pile. But he also reminds us that time can change our understanding of, and even maybe erase, the contributions of people who were important long ago, and even that people we consider important today may one day also be forgotten in the sands of time. We may try, but we cannot escape history, Tansey says. Tansey's painting weaves the past into the present and makes us think about how we might look at our present and future lives so that we will not be forgotten, like some of these men we can't identify have been. Tansey invites you to answer the question, how will you weave your past, present, and future into a legacy that will be remembered? And now we have a chance to speak with our guest community artist, Hisaya Yale. Hi, Hisaya. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you. I'm Hisai Yale. a guest community artist.
The name of this art kit is Change is the Only Constant. Have you noticed your own artwork changing over time? And if so, why do you think it would be important that it is always changing?
I think things that exist in our world are always changing because they cannot escape from time and external influences. Sometimes we think we can keep things the same, but we can't. All living things grow older and change their shape gradually. And all material things age over time, and external influences contribute to changes in their condition and shape. Most of my installation works are created on the assumption that they will change over time and through external influences, such as interactions with viewers. When I finish a piece, that is not the end of the creative process for me. This is because the viewers are also a part of my artwork, and without their interaction with it, it will never be completed. How they interact with my artwork and the time they spend in my work can change my work both gradually and in significant ways. It sometimes changes the shape and the color of the object. I'm interested in how my artwork changes with the viewer interactions and over time in the space. And I believe that process adds more meaning to my artwork.
The art project you have created for this painting allows the students to continue adding on to it. How do you see artwork that can continue to change being very beneficial?
In this art project, students create a symbol of themselves using strip of cloth. Then they continue adding onto the work with strips of cloth, adding words and or sentences which express their new experiences, ideas, or interests each day. They will observe how their art changes gradually through their everyday life. Through the process of the art project, I hope students will also see they have the power to change their own future. They may not be able to see into the future, but the experiences and things they change in their everyday life, as represented in the artwork, will help them realize that their present actions connect with their own future and they can change their future in a meaningful way.
In Tanzi's artwork, we see many historical figures and artifacts from the past. Is there a positive message you would like to share about why you think it matters how we act towards each other every day? How might art be useful in shaping the world and how people and moments are remembered?
I think what has happened in history has shaped our present, and our present actions will, will help shape the future. We sometimes think about the past, the present, and the future as separate things, but they are connected together in one line, and the past and the present always influence the future. Throughout history, there were many discoveries and inventions which included both numerous successes and mistakes. I think our history is very valuable and that we can find many small clues to make our world a better place by learning from it. Reading a book is one way to build an understanding our histories, and the world around us. But I see art as fitting similar rule, but in slightly different ways. Art doesn't tell all the details of what happened in the history or the detail of information about our history and the world. However, art gives us opportunities to think about various topics and events in the world and throughout history without the written word. I would like to believe that learning from the past and doing what we can to improve in our everyday life affect our future in meaningful and positive ways. Also, I would like to believe that our small individual contributions will build to change our world for the better in the future.
Thank you so much, Hisaye.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Now, please feel free to go to the art making video that is related to Landscape by Mark Tansey. Remember to keep in mind what you have learned here as you have fun making some interesting and wonderful art.